Did you know that raising your App Store rating from 3.8 to 4.5 can increase your App Store conversion rate by 30%? But there's one essential mistake that a lot of developers make, and that is timing. In this video, I'm giving you this proven 4-step process on how to get as many 5-star reviews as possible for your mobile app on both the Google Play and the Apple App Store. Let's start with number 1. And this kind of goes without saying, but this is build a review-worthy product. And this needs to be a product that is well thought through, that actually solves a user problem to some degree effectively, and that is good enough in terms of how it performs, like no bugs, for example, or not a lot of bugs, and a decent UI, a decent UX, and just something that addresses a problem for the user. So obviously it needs to do all of this, otherwise you wouldn't have built it and put it on the App Store anyway, but it just kind of goes without saying. So make sure you have a product that is actually worth leaving a review for. Step 2, and here comes the important part. Timing is everything. So you need to identify what I call the aha moment. The aha moment is the point in time where the user uses your app and they think, wow, aha, this is the value I was supposed to get from this app. Aha, this is how it works. Aha, this works just how I thought it was going to be. So go through your app and picture the first time a user actually gets value or significant value from this app. Some common apps or big apps ask for reviews in the onboarding. You can do this if you have a fantastic onboarding that makes the user go, aha, already in the onboarding. For example, Duolingo does this because they have a 2-minute lesson free that's inside of the onboarding stage. And after you've done this lesson, you kind of go, aha, I kind of know what the value of this app is. And aha, I'm kind of getting the value, i.e. learning a language from this app. But if you're unable to do this in the onboarding process, which a lot of people are, I'm certainly not able to, because it's very difficult and you need a fantastic onboarding, then I would avoid doing this, because some people might just get irritated and give it a 3-star review like, hey, I don't know what this app does yet. I don't know if it solves my problem. I don't know if it provides me enough value for me to recommend this to others. So the aha moment is the first point in time where a user truly realizes the value of your app. An example, personal example, is I have a flashcard app for a very niche test. And inside of this, the first time that a user kind of sees sufficient value is the first time they pass one of these flashcard quizzes or mock exams. So I kind of combine two things here. First time that they pass one, i.e. they get a score that is 80% or higher for this test in particular, they have actually passed it. And then they're gonna be in a good mood. They're gonna feel like, okay, wow, I'm getting something out of this practice. This practice is really improving how I'm doing on these particular tests, and they're gonna be happy. So at this point in time, they're gonna be more likely to be willing to give me a 5-star review than, for example, if I prompt them to give me a review after they've scored 10% on one of these tests. So I'll make sure to program this into the app that I don't ask for a review unless I think that they've actually gotten value and that they're actually in a good mood to some degree inside of the app. This won't be applicable to all apps, but if your app has some of these components, definitely make sure to ask when your users are gonna be in a good mood. But the number one important point here is that to identify your aha moment. And this can vary for different apps. For example, in a financial planning app, the first aha moment may be when you categorize your first expense. Facebook's aha moment was when you added 4 friends for the first time. And if you're Duolingo, your aha moment might be the first lesson that you pass. And if you're a banking app, your aha moment might be the first time that you transfer money to someone else, for example. Or if you're a fitness app, your aha moment may be your first workout that you log. So go through your app and note down all of the steps and point out the step where you think, aha, this is where the user is going to realize the value of this app. After they've done this, and they've done this in a positive manner, this is where you ask for an App Store or Google Play review. And this leads me into step number 3. And this is also to ensure that the user gives a good review. Because if you prompt at the wrong time, the user may leave a bad review, which is going to hurt your conversion rate, but it's also going to hurt your App Store searchability. So I use a 2-time filter that I call it. And what I do here essentially is that inside of the app, I present a simple question. Are you enjoying this app? Or are you enjoying this insert feature? For example, in one of my apps, I have something called the ARB AI, which is someone you talk to get the theory answer. So I might ask, are you enjoying using ARB AI? And I just give them a yes and I give them a no. If they click yes, that is when I show the dialogue for leaving an App Store review, because then they're already in that flow. They're like, yeah, I'm someone who enjoys this app. I've already put that I enjoy this app. Why would I not give a 5-star review? Or maybe a 4-star if you're unlucky. But if they press no, you don't show this because you don't want this to be reflected on the App Store or the Google Play. What you do instead is then you show a form saying, oh, that's unfortunate. What are you unhappy about inside of this app? Then they can give you valuable feedback as a user that you can then use to improve this app to be more likely to get 5-star reviews going forward. Combining these two with the aha moment and then this second degree filter that I call it is going to be essential for landing you as many 5-star reviews as possible that is going to improve your app on the Google Play or the Apple App Store. And step number 4 is to ask natively. Always show a native dialogue for asking for reviews. And what I mean here is show, if you're on iOS, show the iOS specific dialogue. You probably recognize it that says, rate us on the App Store. And then it just presents you there with 5 possible or 1 out of 5 stars. And if you're on Google Play, you do the same thing, but you do it for Google where they show 1 out of 5 stars. And then you can actually add a little comment inside of Google straight away there. So make sure that you do it natively. If you try to do it yourself, it's one, you're overcomplicating things because you're gonna have to submit that to the App Store yourself. And number 2, the users are used to seeing this. When they see one of those, they know what they're meant to do. And if they've pressed yes already, they're going to be inclined to give you a 5-star review. And it's gonna be a simple, done deal that they're just gonna go ahead with and do and continue on with the day, not thinking too much about. If you're in Flutter, for example, there are plenty of good packages. I'll leave some down below. Same thing if you're on React Native. If you're on Swift or if you're on Kotlin, i.e. you're developing natively for Android or Apple iPhone, then there will also be native ways to do this inside of that code. So make sure you do it natively, and there are plenty of good packages to help you if you're on Flutter or React, for example. But those are my 4-step reviews. This is kind of the overview. I have a much more detailed PDF down below if you want to really dive into this and see how this works. I'll also give some recommendations on how to implement this in the code, as well as granular detail on how to actually get as many 5-star reviews as possible, because this is significantly going to help your conversion rate and therefore how many downloads you make and how much money you end up making from your apps. So definitely go check that out. It's completely free of charge. Also, if you like this type of content, then feel free to subscribe. That's also completely free of charge, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.